DreamWorks' beloved How to Train Your Dragon has finally spread its wings into the live-action realm. Directed once again by Dean DeBlue, the mastermind behind the original animated trilogy. The 2025 live-action remake was always going to be a tightrope walk, balancing the cherished legacy of its animated predecessor with the demands and expectations of a new cinematic form. While it doesn't quite ignite the same emotional spark as the original, the live-action version still manages to soar thanks to strong performances, striking visuals, and the ever-enchanting bond between boy and dragon. Revisiting Berk, a world reimagined, the story is largely the same. Hiccup Horrendous Haddock 3, a lanky and misunderstood Viking teen, is more inventor than warrior, a sharp contrast to the dragon-slaying ideals of his father, Stoic, the Vast, when Hiccup shoots down a feared night fury dragon, only to find himself unable to kill it. He begins a secret friendship with the wounded beast, whom he names Toothless. What follows is a sweeping tale of friendship, trust, and challenging long-held beliefs, the heart of How to Train Your Dragon's enduring appeal. The new adaptation doesn't veer much from this formula, and that's both its strength and its weakness. Familiar flight path on one hand, the live-action remake plays it safe, perhaps too safe. Nearly every narrative beat from the 2010 original is replicated here. There are few surprises, and for fans of the original, the script can feel like a shot-for-shot echo, albeit with real actors and a CGI dragon. It's a faithful retelling, but one that lacks the freshness and inventive spark that made the first film such a revelation. This sense of déjà vu raises a fair question. Why remake a near-perfect film at all? The answer, perhaps, lies in the potential to introduce How to Train Your Dragon to a new generation, one raised on live-action fantasy epics like Harry Potter, Percy Jackson, and The Hunger Games. To that end, the film delivers enough visual spectacle and thematic weight to captivate new viewers, even if it doesn't surprise longtime fans. Toothless in live-action, a technical triumph. Let's get this out of the way. The live-action Toothless is nothing short of breathtaking. Crafted with a mix of animatronic effects and high-grade CGI, the Night Fury feels as lifelike as any creature in recent cinematic memory. His wide eyes, expressive ears, and cat-like behavior translate remarkably well to the live-action format. When Toothless and Hiccup take their first flight together, it's still exhilarating, a reminder of how powerful this story can be, no matter the format. The aerial sequences, boosted by IMA X-ready cinematography, are absolutely stunning. Scenes of Toothless gliding across the sky, diving through clouds, or racing through the sea spray of Berk's coastline are enough to justify the price of admission. The visual effects team clearly poured their heart into making the dragons feel alive, and it pays off in spades. Cast and performances, heartfelt but uneven, the casting here mostly works. Mason Thames, the Black Phone, steps into the role of Hiccup with a natural awkwardness and vulnerability that fits the character's outsider status. Though he lacks some of Jay Baruchel's distinct vocal charm, Thames brings a grounded performance that suits the more grounded visuals. Gerard Butler is notably absent from the live-action version. With Vikings star Travis Fimmel now donning the beard and battle-axe of Stoic, the Vast Fimmel delivers a strong, if more stoic, version of the character, one that leans heavier on the gruff Viking stereotype than the tender father figure audiences may remember. As Astrid, rising star Nico Parker, The Last of Us, brings a fierce presence. Though the romantic subplot between her and Hiccup remains underdeveloped, other supporting characters, like Snotlout, Fishlegs, and Roughnut and Toughnut, don't leave as much of an impression this time around, perhaps a result of the film's tighter focus on Hiccup and Toothless. A soaring score returns one of the best decisions made in the transition to live-action was retaining John Powell's iconic musical score. The themes that carried the original trilogy, the swelling strings of Test Drive, the ethereal beauty of Romantic Flight, and the emotional weight of Stoic's ship all return, re-recorded with a larger orchestral force and new depth. The music remains one of the strongest emotional tools in the film, and its familiar cues often fill in the emotional resonance that the remake's script sometimes lacks. What's missing? The heart of animation. Despite all its strengths, something is missing in the live-action How to Train Your Dragon, and that something is the magic of animation. There was a warmth, whimsy, and stylization in the original that lent itself to bolder emotional swings. Animation allowed for high character designs, fantastical visuals, and a world just removed enough from our own to let imagination truly take flight. The live-action film, by contrast, is more grounded and literal. In doing so, it sacrifices some of the dreamlike quality that made Berk such a captivating place to visit. The film also misses opportunities to expand or reinterpret its themes for the modern age. While messages of empathy, courage, and challenging inherited prejudice remain timeless, the remake doesn't go beyond repeating them. The Viking village of Berk still feels like it belongs in 2010, rather than being reimagined through a 2025 lens. Final verdict: the live action, How to Train Your Dragon, doesn't reinvent the wheel, and perhaps it never intended to. It's a faithful, technically impressive, and emotionally satisfying retelling of a story that remains among the best family-friendly adventures of the 21st century, but in choosing to stick so closely to its predecessor, the film sacrifices the chance to evolve, deepen, or surprise. It soars, but never truly flies beyond the shadow of its animated self. For newcomers, especially those unfamiliar with the original trilogy, this live-action version is a thrilling and heartfelt gateway into the world of Hiccup and Toothless. For longtime fans, it's a nostalgic revisit, polished, reverent, and safe. In the end, it reminds us why we fell in love with dragons in the first place, even if it doesn't make us feel like we're seeing them for the first time.